Hey everybody, Reds Fan 1979 back here with a special baseball card video. This is episode 2 of Chris's Card Talk. So let me just adjust this. Okay, there we go. Again, hands-free, definitely believe in safety. But anyways, episode 2 for Chris's Card Talk. Thought it would be appropriate today to talk about an issue that's been frustrating me a little bit about buying and selling cards on eBay, and that is the art of negotiation. I feel like people have lost that when buying cards. You know, it's just similar to people buy a house, a car, things like that. You know, I think people expect to negotiate back and forth. Like, people aren't going to take your first offer unless it's really strong or they're super desperate. And I think as a seller, I think the same thing. I think you have to expect to be able to go back and forth a few times. So I'll give you guys a couple of examples. As a buyer, I'll tell you what I do. Excuse me. So as a buyer, I really try and look at the historical sales data of the cards. I may look at the book value of the cards, although there's really not. People don't put much emphasis on that anymore. It's really all about the recent sales data and how high of demand a card is going for. So as a buyer, I really try to put stock in that. If I really want to get a card, obviously the buy it now feature is fine. The auctions, you know, try and outbid people. But on the make an offer, you know, if I really want a card, I'll really try and offer somewhere between like 80 and 90% of the asking price. And a lot of the times I'll get it for that. Depending on, so I've had once or twice where the sellers come back. But most of the time, if I offer 90% or more, they take it. So on the flip side, you know, and also to finish out the thought, if I'm trying to be more aggressive, if I'm going to offer like 60% to 75% of the asking price of a card, like, I'm gonna expect the seller comes back with a counter offer, just because they're gonna want to get somewhere in between what I offered and, you know, what their asking price is. I've never offered half of what a card is valued at unless it's just ridiculously priced, but if it's ridiculously priced, it might be somebody that's not reasonable to deal with anyways. So I don't know. Offering half of what a card is going for, I'm sorry, that's just silly. I hope I don't offend anybody, but I would never do that. I think that's kind of insulting. I mean, picture if you offer somebody half of what they're asking for their house. I mean, they'll laugh at you. So on the selling side, it's been a little more frustrating for me. I don't have as much experience on the selling side with eBay. Probably sold about 10 to 15 cards over the last like 2 years. So I've done a couple in the auction style, a couple of the more highly desired cards. Sometimes that gets you a better price for the highly desired cards. I've done a few buy it now and had some success, but most of the time I go with the make an offer, because I just think that, you know, the ability to negotiate between both parties usually provides a fair and reasonable price to both parties. That's actually what I do for a living. I'm a contract negotiator, so I rather enjoy it. But again, like I said, people just seem to not understand it and know how to do it. So I'll give you guys a couple examples on the selling side that I had. So the first one was I had an Aaron Judge 2019 Topps, the 150th anniversary stamp, and I think I listed it for $525, $550, something like that. The recent sales were between like $3.50 and $5, so I was hoping to land somewhere between like $4 and $5. So some person offered me $3, and I was like, okay, well, that's like, you know, 55-60% of what I was asking. So I went back to them in between at like $4.25, and they just completely declined my counter offer and didn't come back. So I'm not sure if people are misinformed, like they don't realize that you can make multiple offers back and forth, or if they're just like trying to steal a card, like, you know, playing games, stuff like that. I'm not all about that. So eventually that card, I relisted it for $425 or $450 buy it now, and I actually had somebody else that bought it straight up. So that was pretty cool. Sometimes it's just finding the right buyer. On a second one, I had a, let's see, what was it? Oh, it was a Joey Votto 2008 Topps Chrome rookie. I initially bought it raw, but after getting the graded version that you guys saw about a month back, I decided to sell the raw one and use the money to buy other cards. And so I listed it for $9.99 or best offer. I had a guy come in with $5, basically half of what I was asking, and I went back to him. It was $7.50, $7.99, something like that. And again, just flat out declined my offer, and like no further communication. So again, somebody like that to me is just trying to steal a card. $5 is a little cheap for that kind of card. It's not perfect, but it's a pretty nice card. The corners are nice, and I really do try and put in some details about condition in my listings so people know. So, and then one other example, I had two Topps Chrome Update 2018 Juan Soto rookie debuts. I think I had a lot of two of them for $4.99, and somebody came in and offered me $3. And again, I mean, he was one of the best players last year. I thought they were worth a little bit more than that based on sales data, and I went back to them with a counter offer of $3.99 to meet them in the middle, and again, completely declined my offer. So I'm really not sure, again, what people are thinking when they, are doing the buy it now or make an offer. I think there's some buyers out there who just have the false assumption that sellers are just going to take whatever offer they put out there, which is just asinine. People need to learn negotiations 101. But, at the same time, as a seller, like, I'm happy to negotiate. I want to give people a fair price, but I'm not trying to give the card away either. So, still have a few of those cards for sale, but a few of them did sell, and I was able to trade one. Still have the Votto up there for sale. I have it for $7.99 plus 2018 Bowman's Best Blue Refractor numbered to 150, and it's for $7.99, so I think that's a pretty good value. So go check it out on my page if anybody's interested. But yeah, it's just kind of weird. One of those weird things. You would think again that when people are gonna buy and sell seriously on eBay, they read some of the rules, and I wish people were more informed. I wish people knew that they could go back and forth 3 times. I believe it's 3 or maybe even 5. It used to be 3, but they may have increased it to 5. So they really do, pave the way for a lot of negotiation, but it's up to people to do it, to kind of understand it and do it. So as a buyer, I have been able to go back and forth with negotiations with some sellers several times, and it's actually been quite successful, and I think both parties come out pretty happy. So, let me know what you guys think about this, if you've had any experiences, selling cards. On the buying side, I kind of understand, but on the selling side, if you've had any of these kind of frustrations with selling cards, usually I find that it is not the real expensive cards, but the ones that are between $5 and $10 seem to be the ones that have this kind of issue. And again, it's the people that are coming in offering 50 to 60% of the card. That seems to be the range that that this happens with, just trying to steal a card, I think, which is just ridiculous. Those kind of people don't need to be on eBay, but I know it's a buyer's prerogative on what they want to do. So anyways, let me know what you guys think. Hope you guys have enjoyed this episode. I'm actually on my way to Kroger right now. I broke one of my own rules. Talk about funny etiquette. I actually sold a card, which was really cool. A card I've been trying to sell for a while, and apparently I didn't have the little package to send it in, so I have the shipping label and everything else. So just stopping at Kroger to get one of those little manila envelopes to send it in. So again, got to follow your own advice sometimes. But all right, everybody, hope you have a great week, and we'll look forward to next week with Chris's Card Talk. God bless.